Okay, guys, so there's a lot of misinformation going on in regards to hit and evasion. And in this video, I'm going to break it down for you because I need you, like, I genuinely want you guys to know this stuff. Because, again, a lot of misinformation with how much hit you need to be stacking to the point where I genuinely feel the need to actually explain this to you guys so that you can know for yourselves and you can better filter out those idiots that have no idea what they're talking about and just kind of act like they do, okay? Because there are a lot of those people. So I've created a chart here. This is a hit chart to evasion chart, right? 0 evasion, 1k evasion, 2k evasion, and yellow is going to be represented by hit. Here's the deal. The amount of hit that you need depends on the weapon you're using, depends on the role you're fulfilling, and it depends on the content that you're participating in. Let's talk large-scale PvP, which includes GVGs. Not like 10v10 GVGs, like actual full guild versus full guild, war games, siege, riftstones, boonstones, interserver, these types of things, okay? First thing to understand is that there is a meta at endgame tier 1. If you don't think one exists, then you haven't been playing the game and you're clueless. The meta is range and magic evasion. Damage dealing classes typically take range and magic evasion and or endurance. Very few people in large scale PvP, relatively speaking, from a percentage perspective, run melee evasion. This is the first thing that you need to understand. What does this mean? This means that out the gate, just based off of that, you don't need as much hit as melee and you need more hit as range. I'm going to break that down a little bit more specifically. I want to show you the numbers here. This is a poll that I put out not too long ago, and I know there's only 3.1k views or votes, but I assure you, even at 30k votes, it's going to be percentage-wise pretty close. In large-scale PvP, what evasion do you run as DPS in Throne and Liberty? Endgame build, DPS only. Surprise, surprise, 53% ranged magic. Surprise, surprise, 32%. I run endurance. Ranged melee, 13%. Magic melee, 2%. 85% of your targets in large scale PvP will not have melee evasion. Even if you're not building for a hit as melee, you have access to 85% of the targets. How much hit do you need to hit a target that has a base 120 melee evasion? You don't need much. Do you need 1,000 hit to hit those targets? No, you don't. Just by this logic, I could probably end the video right here, to be perfectly honest. Just by this logic, why would you need 1,200 hit when 85% of your targets are not running melee evasion? This video right here, I'm using double arc boss. I am built to bomb. I am built to dive, and that's exactly what I do in this. This video that you're seeing right here, if you watch carefully, on top, you're going to just see me nuke people. You're like, holy shit. But I assure you, if you slow that down, there are plenty of people that I miss. Look at those miss. There are plenty of people. But I'm hitting more people because there are more people that simply don't run melee evasion. Do you know how much hit I'm running in this video? I'm running 700 hit in this video. And no, this isn't the first siege. This is the most recent siege. This is a recent video. So a lot of people are end game here. Okay? I'm nuking people. I would not be getting as many kills if I was building more for hit and sacrifice that damage. I would still be missing the same amount of people because my hit wouldn't be high enough. 200, 300 extra hit isn't going to do shit for me. The difference between 700 hit and 1,000 hit, which I'm going to show you here in the chart, isn't going to do shit for me. Okay. I'm still going to miss the targets with running evasion, and I'm going to hit the targets that aren't. This right here is all with 700 hit. I'm going to pull up another clip here for you. There's another cluster here. Here's another cluster. Okay. We go in here, 700 hit, and I'm going to link this in the description below. This is a video that I've already uploaded. Now, this is obviously only possible because I do have double arc boss weapons, but they are not an exception to hit. They are just as much at the mercy of a lack of hit as any other weapon. And I'm still nuking people here because 700 to hit is enough. Surprise, surprise. What you need to understand is that the people that are telling you for melee, large-scale PvP, tier 1, the people that are telling you you need at least 1,000 hit, 1,100 hit, 1,200 hit, or the people that are telling you I'm missing everyone, I can't hit anyone, I've done it. The people that are telling you that are essentially telling you that they are not very good at the game because they simply don't know who to target prio. 700 hit, let's just use that. That'll be right around this mark right here. Personally, I recommend trying to get at least 700 hit. 600 hit bare minimum. The reason why I say this is because there are passive evasion procs that a lot of classes get. For example, Expo's passive that gives them evasion, that just give them a good amount of melee evasion, even if they're not spec for it. 700 is going to ensure that you're covering that gap. You're not going to miss against targets that aren't even building for melee evasion. 700 is a pretty good number. The targets that are running melee evasion, which by the way, only 15% of the targets in large scale, the targets that are, they're going to be around like 1.9 to 2k plus. Now, especially with runes that are in the game now, they're not going to be at 1.5. Even if they were, what is 1k hit going to do for you? At 1k to 1.5, that's still a 33% chance to miss your target. The way Greatsword is designed, we're talking about melee here. The way Greatsword is designed specifically is it is a combo-based class. You need to land your opener, Precision Dash, Shadow Strike, or Chain Hook. You need to hit the CC, Stunning Blow, or usually Ascending Slash. You need to land the Guillotine. And then if you don't finish him with the Guillotine because it doesn't heavy or crit and or crit, you need to hit him with the Stunning Blow, right? And then the Death Blow. That's kind of the bread and butter combo. You need consecutive hits. If you have a 33% chance to miss one of those attacks, it's over. If your Ascending Slash misses, your combo's over. Dead in the water. This is why as a Greatsword user, you never target melee evasion users. You just don't. You're trolling yourself. It's a little bit different depending on the weapon that you're using. Like you can brawl better with dagger, but the same principle applies. You're wasting your time by attacking a build that counters you. Melee evasion is literally designed to counter you as a melee. Why would you target a melee evasion user? If you see that bow dagger in the open world, he's not going to have melee evasion. If he does, he is trolling himself by having melee evasion in the open world, large scale PvP. He's not dealing nearly as much damage as he should. He is literally costing his team. Because he's costing his team, he's not a very good asset. Because that's the case, people don't run melee evasion large scale, because this is kind of another point that I wanted to make here. Another reason why the meta revolves around ranged and magic evasion is because the best DPS sets revolve around ranged and magic evasion. The Phantom set and Shadow Harvester set, would you agree that these are the two most popular DPS sets in the game? Some of the most popular DPS sets. Of course they are. Those pieces cannot build for ranged evasion, for melee evasion. The 2-piece Shadow Harvester, if you have a 2-piece Shadow Harvester, you're not melee evasion. General set can build melee evasion within a trait, but those pieces don't actually have an additional melee evasion trait that comes attached to it, not allowing them to hit the threshold of like 1.9k that you need to be hitting if you are going melee evasion. Evasion, you full send. 1.5k melee evasion, are there people that run this 1.5k melee evasion build? Of course there are. There are a lot of people that just don't... that aren't building really effectively. The people that are building for this, maybe with the exception of tanks, but like any DPS that's running 1.5 melee evasion that is at the end game in their end game build, they are severely gimping themselves, both from a damage and or survivability perspective. If you are Greatsword Dagger and you have melee evasion, good luck. Please upload an uncut video of yourself playing in a GVG, large scale PvP, getting a good amount of kills. I challenge you to do so. Please do. I'd love to see it. You're just not. In large scale PvP, you are going to be taking the most amount of damage from flash waves, from chain lightnings, from judgments, from fireballs. You're not going to be dying very much, especially if you're main ball. You're not going to be dying very much to Greatsword users. Of course you're going to die. There's a reason why the top kills on every server and the top damage on every server, every game type is always ranged and or magic. For every one Greatsword users that's on the top of the ranking, there's another 10 bow and or staff users that are up there. That's just the way it is in large scale. That is the bigger threat. Anyone that plays DPS that goes out there with melee evasion, you will quickly realize what I'm talking about. Some of you guys may have already realized it. Some of you guys might be realizing it now. Some of you guys might be realizing it very soon. You're going to go into ranged and magic evasion. You're going to go to a siege and you're like, yeah, I'm actually not getting locked down by that many Greatsword users because I'm with my team, and when they jump into me or they jump into us, they just get insta-cleaved, they get insta-peeled, and they die. Yeah, that's usually how it is, with the exception of very small scale skirmishes, maybe like on the perimeter as a flex team that's completely irrelevant to the actual core fight, or if you're in a very small guild doing like a 10v10 GVG on like a relatively dead server, dead boot zone. The main content revolves around this. Okay, so let's go back to this chart. 700, so like 700 hit. This is going to ensure you're going to hit 85% of the targets. These targets, learn how to target prio. It's as simple as that. They have melee evasion. Learn how to prio target. If you're at 1.1, 1.2k hit, you are literally wasting damage in your large scale PvP as a in tier 1 as a melee user. It's as simple as that. These guys right here that are full sending melee evasion, by the way, a lot of healers do. You're not going to touch him. I know I'm kind of sounding like a broken record here, but just please understand that. Now, what about range? And range is very different. First and foremost, how does range deal its damage? It's a lot more DPS focused, damage per second focused. It's more spammy. It's less combo reliant. So you have Greatsword over here, which is like combo consecutive hits, few hits, and then you have range. Let's say Expo, which is the complete opposite damage style as a Greatsword. Expo's a lot of hits. You don't need combos. It's just pew, 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 pew. Range evasion is the most commonly stacked evasion at the end game of tier 1. We even saw that with the YouTube numbers, right? Everyone has it. Ranged endurance, range evasion, Shadow Walker, range evasion, range and magic evasion, but range is even more common, I would say, than magic evasion. It's easier to stack because of the gear pieces that you're going for. Shadow Harvester, Phantom, all these pieces give you a lot of range evasion. You need a lot of hit, and it's okay if you miss. It's not worthless, right? First of all, if you want to try and target users that don't have range evasion, good luck trying to find those targets to begin with. And second of all, if you do hit targets that have range evasion, you can still kill them. Unlike Greatsword, if you try to hit a 1.5k melee evasion user as 1k, it's gonna feel like you're winning the lottery. If it's gonna be hit or miss. It's like, oh well, if I land the guillotine, it's a damn coin flip. With range, it's gonna feel more like you're just a DPS loss because you're constantly hitting them. You know, your Expo's gonna 1 in 3 attacks are gonna land if he has 33% evasion on you, 500 extra evasion on you, and the more hit you stack, the more overall damage you will deal. So it is a very different thing. The meta is different, the gearing is different, and the way you deal damage is different. This is the reason why I think the best bow in the game next to Tevent bow is Grand Aelin. It's actually between Tublik and Carnix, both from a base damage perspective and a range perspective, but you get a lot of hit from it. The more hit you stack, you are going to be dealing a lot more damage. If you look at my range builds, I prioritize hit as much as possible. If you look at my Greatsword builds, I prioritize heavy attack, survivability, and crit as much. I try to hit those thresholds and attack speed more importantly. By the way, if you do want to talk a little bit more about Greatsword building, I stack those because in large scale, you're going to need to get in quick, execute, and get out quick. Right? That's going to require damage. It's going to require attack speed. In large scale, that's what it requires. If you disagree with this and you play Greatsword, you will agree with me after you start playing the game a little bit more. I assure you, come back to the video and let me know in the comment section that I was right. Okay? When it comes to range, okay, you are kiting. You're hitting from behind. A lot of people have evasion. It's a lot more spammy. Right? If you're Expo, obviously you're kind of relying on evasion, which is why you want to stack more evasion and you get more passive evasion on Expo. But when it comes to dealing damage, the same applies. You want as much hit as possible. That is going to maximize your damage. So when it comes to hit with bows, I absolutely want to try and push in this 1.2k region. If you can, it's definitely possible. 1.2k hit to a 2k evasion user, that is an 800 evasion differential. That's going to be roughly around 40% of your 40% of your attacks missing. If you're at 800 hit compared to 2k, that's 1.2. That's like going from 40% of your damage missing or 40% of your attacks missing completely versus like, what did I say, 1.2 versus like 52, 55 ish percent of your, that's like a difference of 10 to 15% of your attacks, right? Not really 15, like 10 to 12% additional, 40% versus 52% of your attacks landing. That's pretty significant. That's a lot of DPS. You want to stack that hit. That's pretty much it, guys. I just wanted to just really break this down. Sorry if this was a little bit ranty. Okay. I know I was just kind of jumping around quite a bit. I don't have a script here. I don't even have points of conversation. I just wanted this to be more of a real, I just wanted this to feel like more of a conversation I'm having with you guys as if I'm on stream and kind of explaining. I know I'm going to probably get roasted for just ranting on and not structuring this very well. I'm sorry. Next time I will try to be a little bit more prepared. Okay. I promise you. But yeah, this is pretty much it, guys. Okay. So anytime you hear someone with no idea what they're supposed to do in their build, or no idea what a specific build is designed for, especially with melee, and they're like, it doesn't have enough hit. They just don't know what they're talking about. It's also kind of annoying and frustrating sometimes listening to people that just clearly don't know what they're talking about, clearly don't understand what the value is in specific builds, and just kind of talk out of their ass. Another example of this is HP. I'm not going to go too deep into this one, but there's a lot of people that are like, kick W, good luck tanking with that amount of HP. You need at least 20, 25K. Oh, Omega. It's like, no, that's not how it works. I assure you there are plenty of 20 to 25K users out there, 20 to 25K HP users out there that just get melted just like that and have no mitigation. Mitigation is a thing, okay? There's it's kind of like the same thing. Oh, you need at least 1,000, 1,200 hit for melee to be viable. No, that's just not true at all. You can totally be a very tanky SNS user with low health. It just depends on how you build. There are a lot of factors involved. Q blocking at the right time, Q blocking the right skill, your passive block rate, your skill damage resist, which really a lot of people don't know about, by the way. That is like straight up net damage mitigation. Okay, if you're wondering, skill damage resist is your skill damage resist divided by skill damage resist plus 1,000, which is the same formula that all these evasion stats use. Okay, so if you're at 500 skill damage resist against a target that has 0 skill damage boost, that's 33% damage mitigation. That's a lot, right? That's a lot. But a lot of people are like, oh, you need HP. It's not always about HP. Maybe that'll be a different video. Probably not. I'm done ranting. I'm sorry. I'll shut up now. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you have any additional questions, please. I'm on Twitch streaming this game like every day, 12 hours a day. Just come to my Twitch channel. I'm more than happy to be educated, by the way, too. If there are things that I'm wrong about, if there are things that I can learn, there are people in my chat that come in and I'm like, oh shit, I didn't know that. That's awesome. People, you guys know who you are in my Twitch chat, right? Shout outs to you guys. But for the most part, I'm not really wrong with a lot of this shit. I'm sorry. I'm not, okay? That's just the way it is. And if you want to learn or have a discussion about this and be educated on anything, come to my Twitch chat. I'm more than happy to explain it to you in a non-toxic, constructive manner. All right, but I'm human too. I'm sorry, guys. Okay, I'm seriously gonna shut up now. Thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know what you guys think. Come follow me on Twitch. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.